Going to bring in relationship therapist and author Dr. Wilson. And you're saying that really it's stressful for the whole family. Good morning.
Good morning, Alex. Good to be here. Yeah, it is stressful. I mean, after all, this is the first time that kids are all back for the full year in person. We've had a year-long pandemic. We're still in it. There's all this controversy about mask or not mask. And so I say to kids, if we're going to focus on kids, do some things to externalize your emotions. Talk it out, write it out, walk it out, breathe it out, work it out. But get it out, get that anxiety out of you, because there is going to be some preliminary separation anxiety, because this is not the norm. This is not what we've experienced in the last year and a half.
And it's about talking with the kids. And I know sometimes a lot of parents feel like, well, it's hard to really understand what they're feeling, and they have trouble trying to put it out in words. So how do you help with that when it comes to talking to your kids about how they're feeling?
Yeah, one, you want to make sure that you listen, right? We know that the four-letter word for love when it comes to children, especially small children, is time. So spend time, ask open-ended questions, and just listen. Ask them what their emotions are. There's these emotion sheets that you can pull off of YouTube or, online, if you will, and you can have the younger kids draw, the emotions that they're feeling. You can have the older kids just process it, maybe by watching a movie, as you just showed the excerpt that you should just show to your audience. So the most important thing is that you listen and ask them, how are you feeling about what happened over the summer, last year? Do you have any anxiety about going into the new school year? And if so, what are the emotions that describe how you're feeling? Because we do want to express those emotions in a way that's safe. And the best way to do that is to create a safe environment for your students, for your kids.
And we just put up on the screen what you were saying: write it out, draw it out, talk it out, breathe it out. So I did skip one. Let's go to the write it out and draw it out. Is that just saying, just write out how you feel, draw how you feel?
Write it out in your emotions, right? Because we're talking about externalizing, right? So you just write out, what are your emotions? How are you feeling? What are your fears? What are your concerns? What are your worries? For the smaller kids, they can draw it out, right? You can also walk it out or work it out, right? Get those endorphins going. That's going to be good for changing the parasympathetic nervous system, right? And making you more calm, right? And then breathing it out. Deep breathing is essential for all of us, whether you're kids, whether you're teens, whether you're adults. We don't breathe enough. We don't get that oxygen into our body that actually changes the endorphins, decreases the cortisol levels, and increases the serotonin and the dopamine in those endorphins.
Oh, that is important and a thing to know. And once it happens, like let's say after this first day, how important is that conversation after that first day that you have with your child? And because sometimes you say, oh, it's fine, or yeah, it was okay, and then they want to move on.
No, absolutely. I'm glad you asked that, Alex, because when you're in the car with your kids, because a lot of times the parents are dropping the kids off to school or whatever, use that time to say, how are you doing? Also, I say to parents, have that once a week family meeting, if you will. So everybody comes together, the older kids, the younger kids, the parents, and you're having an honest conversation, being truthful, being transparent, saying, even for the parents to say, listen, this was hard for me too. Now, you don't want to project all of your emotions onto your kids because they're checking your temperature, but you can also say, I had a little anxiety too. Did you? All right, tell me how it went and what can we tweak? So that then you get to hold on to the wins, right? What did we do well over this last week? And what did we not do so well? So then you get to tweak that to then move forward to the next week. So every week you need to have a family meeting to say, how are we doing? And checking each other's temperature.
A nice check-in. And you mentioned for parents, they're feeling it too. What advice then do you have for parents? Because you're right, they are following your lead and you want to keep it together, but it's real, the things that you're feeling.
Listen, I mean, there's just so much ambiguity. There's so much ambivalence. Parents are dealing with their own anxiety. What's going to happen to my children? So I say to parents, listen, you got to do your own meditation and mindfulness too, right? Do your exercising, journal if you need to journal, but also have an accountability partner. Have somebody that you can call that talks you off the ledge, if you will, so that you're not projecting all of that anxiety onto your own children. And then, of course, make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. So hydrate, exercise, externalize your emotions. Do the things that you're telling your children. And if you don't have a mechanism for that, you can download the Calm app or some of the apps, if you will, that help you do your mindfulness and meditation. And by the way, actually, if you haven't started school, start preparing yourself for getting to bed earlier, because rest is essential for calming your anxiety as well.
Got to get in that routine. And really quickly, for siblings, as we showed a video earlier of a little guy who was sad about his big sister. Any tips for siblings who are left behind or still in the house?
here's what I say with for siblings. Give them an object that they can hold on to. So for the little siblings, if you want the big sibling can say, here, wear my t-shirt, or take my teddy bear, or take my little piece of jewelry and hold on to it. When you feel anxious, you can think of me. So giving a person, the one older sibling, a object to give to the younger sibling, it really does wonders. And then have a reconvening in the end of the night to talk about how they felt during the day.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Argie Allen Wilson. We always love your advice.
All right. Thank you.